Infinite blessings, everybody tuning in to this now moment. I trust you are, like myself, exactly where you're supposed to be right now. Because that's how this universe works. We are always exactly where we're supposed to be in the now. So, I want to talk about something. I want to talk about the balance, how to find the balance between movement and stillness. And what's interesting is when we go into things like this, we go into topics of this type of magnitude, you can really connect. When you have these opposites, you can connect them to masculine and feminine. You can connect them to the primal forces of all creation. So let's get into it. Movement and stillness. Stillness and movement. Stillness would be like Shiva, the firmness, the void, the no thing. The movement would be like the Shakti, the energy, creation. So you have consciousness, Shiva, stillness, movement, Shakti, creation, energy. And when you take these two forces together, there's balance, there's life. Life exists because there's balance. Life would not exist if there was no balance. So many factors have to be in place for you to even exist here right now, in this body, breathing this perfect concentration of air. For you to process, for your body to be able to use for its own processes. The sun is at the perfect distance, giving off the perfect amount of heat. The circle of life is in place. All the different creatures, from the bacteria to the apex predators, the circle of life continues. All of it is necessary. Balance is necessary for life to exist. So, relating to the topic at hand, movement and stillness. Movement would be the feminine expression, stillness would be the masculine. And remember, all beings have both expressions within them. We all have masculine and feminine aspects. And so to find balance in life, it's important to balance those aspects within ourselves. And so we need to understand what they mean and what are the ways that we can balance them. So think about this. Too much movement, too much flow, too much energy creation without integration. What happens? Your mind gets flustered. You can't focus. You can't fully manifest because you're too spread out. You're moving too much. Not only the mind, but the body moving too much. Or I was going to say not only the body, but the mind. The mind gets all flustered. Can't focus. Too much stillness, too much sitting, waiting, pondering. What does that bring you? Stagnation. Water that is still becomes stagnant. It becomes a breeding ground for mosquitoes and becomes undrinkable. So you want to keep the river flowing. Now there can be still parts of the river, and there could be rapids, and all is well. But when the river stops, the energy can no longer flow. Likewise, if the river is rushing rapids the entire time, you can't grasp it. You can't simply sit and be in it because you're going to get washed away. So the trick is to find the balance of movement and stillness. I always like to say, make moves in stillness. Now, what does that mean? You've heard make moves in silence before. You don't need to tell everybody about all your moves. It slows you down, trips you up. So when we say make moves in stillness, what are we saying? How can you know you're moving in the right direction if your mind is all over the place? There's no stillness here. There's no focus here. Too much movement here. You can't make the right moves. So you need to be still before you decide to move, so you can know where to move, so you can listen in and hear that internal guidance. But you do need to make the move. You can't just sit there and listen the whole time. So when you find that stillness, you find those answers, and you find some sense of direction. And then it's up to you to take the radical action, the movement, to manifest. And that's where we have balance. And then it's up to you again to find, okay, I've been moving. I've been taking these steps, been taking action. It's up to you to find, okay, now it's time to stop and integrate, reintegrate, and figure out what's the next move. Because the next move's not always going to be clear, which is why you need to come to your stillness, to that inner guidance. And that will give you the sense of the next step to take. The masculine leads with stillness. One-pointedness. This is how we manifest. We need to be able to focus on one thing enough to bring it into existence for ourselves. So the masculine will direct you, tell you where to go, how to do it, maybe. That's not always clear. Sometimes there ain't nothing but to do it. You just gotta do it. You just gotta go flow and trust. And that's where the feminine comes in, because it allows you to flow and have faith in the divine order. But that faith can only exist with the masculine having already set the container for the flowing to take place in. So whether we're talking about a relationship with another or with our own self, and that's all that relationships really are, relationships with self. So either way, that balance needs to take place, where the masculine energy needs to be strong and present enough to hold the space for the feminine to truly express itself. In order for creation to take place, the consciousness need to have the idea, the thought, the word. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, and the Word was with God. We could say thought instead of word. We could say idea, vision. But the consciousness can't exist without the energy, because the energy fuels it. And it's these two forces together that drives all creation and all life. So very simply in your own life, find this balance by finding a balance of stillness, meditation, contemplation, all of this to lead you to that stillness. Breathwork, yoga, qigong, cold therapy, whatever it is, psychedelics, whatever takes you to stillness. And then finding the balance. Because now you've got the idea, now you've got the word, you've got the thought, and now you need to move with it. You need to take action with it. Rinse and repeat. Keep practicing. But always find that stillness before acting upon what you feel, upon your emotions. Find the stillness first. Make sure that you're responding not from the emotion, not from a reaction, but from the observer within, from that inner self, from that consciousness. Breathing into this present moment, into this here now. It's a beautiful day. The choice is yours. The choice is yours. I love you. I love myself. Peace.